Last time on Zankichi Plays. So if I talk about games where my opinion lines up with the flow, then maybe I should talk about those that go against it. Oh. Yes, that makes sense, but how do I start? And now, the sequel. Here's an unpopular opinion. Persona 5 and its characters are getting way too much attention. Attention it doesn't deserve. So yeah, ever since its initial release in 2017, Persona 5 has gotten an extended version, a direct sequel that plays different from the original, a cameo in Smash Ultimate, and in between games that are claimed to be canon, but the characters don't remember doing any of those things? What? So why make it canon if there's no progress or character growth? It just boggles my mind on how ridiculous the notion is. But let's just put a pin on that for now and let me give you a rundown of the games that have been released so far. It starts with Persona 5, the vanilla version for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, which is understandable since the PlayStation 4 was out by then and games for both consoles were being released. Then Persona 5 Royal, the extended version for PlayStation 4, which added more to the original version with quality of life changes and additional story and characters, and was also released for PlayStation 5 after the fact, with no changes whatsoever. Why would they do this? Then Persona Q2, which is a sequel of the Persona Q1 game where characters from Personas 3, 4, and 5 got together in this adventure that they don't remember due to memory wipe. They did the same for Persona Q1. What? Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, which is a rhythm game where, you guessed it, memory wipe. Then Persona 5 Strikers, which is the actual sequel to Persona 5, but not Royal, because this game apparently was developed before Royal, and therefore any added story and characters from Royal don't exist in this game. And finally, Persona 5 Tactica, another game with memory wipe at the end. And that's pretty much it. I'm aware I didn't mention the mobile game, but that's why I didn't mention the mobile game. And it's also China only, which is kind of weird too. But why doesn't it deserve the attention it gets? Does the story suck? Or is the heist-like aesthetic not well presented in this game? Actually, all of these things are okay, but it's missing something. Persona 5's story is fine, but it lacks two important aspects that make it not measure up to the Persona games that came before it. And yes, all Persona games before it. And that would be world building and character development. To give you an idea, let me offer you a brief synopsis of each Persona game in order. Persona 1. A bunch of teens are given the power of their true selves called personas and use it to fight an evil corporate magnate that wants to become a god by using a reality-altering machine called the Deva system. Persona 2. A bunch of teens awaken to the power of personas to fight a mysterious antagonist called Joker who can turn rumors into reality and sending their city in utter chaos. Persona 3. A bunch of teens forcefully use their persona powers in their pursuit to destroy Tartarus, a tower filled with dangerous creatures called shadows that show up during the dark hour, who are the cause of a psychological illness called apathy syndrome. Persona 4, a bunch of teens stumble into the world inside the TV, awaken to their personas, and investigate a series of murders that are occurring in their town that are linked to the Midnight Channel, a rumored event where if a TV is off during midnight while it rains, then it will turn on and show people that will die. I swear I've never seen those kids, but if that stupid bear comes around saying that he's king, then he's got another thing coming because this is my domain! And Persona 5, a bunch of teens stumble upon the metaverse, awaken to their personas, and then go into palaces, twisted domains created by corrupt people's hearts in the metaverse, to steal the treasures of people who have wronged these teens, to then make them confess their wrongdoings. Okay. So, what are we seeing here besides that all these games involve kids using supernatural powers? The conflicts in Persona games 1 through 4 not only involve the characters, but also involve the settings of each game and its inhabitants from the very beginning. The stakes are high, the city is overrun by demons from the Shadow World, rumors are altering reality as we speak, people's lives are in danger, and the characters have the power to save them all while also learning about themselves, each other, and the place where the conflict is happening as they progress on their quest to stop the evils causing them. Persona 5, on the other hand, doesn't give me enough world building. The conflict does not involve Shibuya, the setting of Persona 5, in any way. The city is full of faceless NPCs and makes it feel empty, and the named NPCs, including the group's targets, barely have any impact on the setting in general. I even dare say that if this took place elsewhere, then it would not make a difference to the story at all. To me, the setting in a video game or a novel helps with painting a clear picture of where the characters stand, and if said place has a history or a reason as to why things are happening here, then that further enriches the story that is being told. World building gives players a chance to learn about the world they're playing in, give them a place to interact with, find details in the main story they otherwise would miss, and let their actions be reflected in it. Persona 5 fails to do that, along with my next point. So, the characters were able to get back at their tormentors. That's great! Now what? I kept asking myself that question the second time I played this game. You go through the palaces of the people who wronged your party members, you help them see the kind of people they truly are, and help them get revenge. After all is said and done, that's it. Beyond that, characters in Persona 5 experience no further growth as the game progresses. And you might be thinking, Zankichi, that's what the confidant mechanic is for, it shows character growth. And you'd be right. But that's not the point here. I'm talking about main story character growth. I'll explain. In Persona 3 and 4, social links were done with the intention of giving the party members personal growth for some or all of them, in addition to the character growth they experience from the main story. For example, the characters in Persona 3 must deal with Tartarus and the Shadows, but the events preceding the appearance of these two things tie in with some of the party members, and those who weren't involved go through their own growth because of these events, getting closure by the end of it. In Persona 5, however, the main story doesn't give the characters any sort of growth, as there is barely any indication that their actions have any impact to the overarching story. And when the connections are revealed by the literal endgame, then the characters lose all potential to grow, confident rank be damned. Oh, and let's add more fuel to the fire. Remember that pin from earlier? Well, let's talk about it. Why make not one, not two, but 3 games with stories where they forget it all by the end of it? What's the point in telling these stories where the characters will eventually experience no growth? And why go through all of this trouble to say that these games are canon? There is no point to any of it. Persona Q2, Dancing in Starlight, and Tactica bear zero importance to the main story or the characters, since the events that occurred in these games happen in between the main story events, yet they add nothing to these elements at all. And this is why Persona 5 doesn't deserve the attention it gets. It's overhyped and it doesn't have enough substance to hold up to its predecessors. Change my mind! Alright, what's next?